My name is Alexander Kacala, and I am on set at Fox 29 Studios here in Philadelphia with the fabulous Wendy Williams. How are you today?
Hi, Alexander. How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
So, can you actually tell me about how that originated? Because I do understand there are some Philadelphia roots with that.
Yes, I mean, it's all Philly, you know. I was part of the morning show at Power 99. This is back in the late 90s. And there was a drag queen character. You know, no morning show is complete without the drag queen character, but played by a straight man, D. Lee. And D. Lee would come in, and all the other guys would be scared to talk to this character, and I'm like, really? Okay, well, how you doing? You know, I said, how you doing, Shantae? That was Dee Lee's, you know, drag name.
Drag persona.
And that was the only thing I knew how to really say to affect it, but after I left Philly and went back to New York for radio, I took How You Doing with me, because I found that every time you say that, no matter how angry people are, it breaks up the room and everybody smiles. Like, you cannot say how you doing without having some sort of smile.
Well, that's amazing. So it was a straight man impersonating a gay man in drag.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
That's fabulous.
Yes, and people in Philly might remember his name was Shantae. And so How You Doing was my addressing to him.
So you were on Power 99 approximately 1998 to 2001.
Yes.
And where did you live when you were here in Philadelphia?
I lived in Alden Park when I first got here, over in Germantown. And then we moved to Marlton. And we bought a house in Marlton, and that's where, during the time that I arrived as a single woman, and I left as a married woman with a baby. So Philly has been an amazing city to me. This whole area, you know, South Jersey is very different from North Jersey. Everything here is very, very steeped in family, and the hustle and the bustle of life is totally different. Which, I'm from Jersey, but I'm from the New York part of Jersey. I wasn't really as familiar with the slower pace of South Jersey and Philadelphia. But at that time in my life, that is really what I needed. I was having miscarriage after miscarriage. My husband and I had never thought, I mean, we were engaged, but eternally engaged. I really wasn't big on getting married again, because I had been married once before for 5 months. It was a travesty, you know. Well, I find that I'm a better person for this experience, you know, and so that's why Philly is very important to me. And this is my first city stop. We're touring the country with this How You Doin' America tour, celebrating, like I said, the season six of the Wendy Show,
September 15th.
September 15th. You know, it's unbelievable that we've lasted this long, because television, you know, Alexander, is a very, very competitive field. And I'm not stupid. I realize that, you know, people have, you know, 800 channels to choose from, morning, noon, and night. There are judge shows, there are talk shows, there are crime shows on in the middle of the day. They're all news channels. There's all this competition. So for people to continually watch our show and support it, it is a great show.
It is.
You know, but there's a lot of great shows on TV.
And I did notice yesterday when you started your show, you got a little bit emotional when the crowd was cheering you on.
Listen, that happens from time to time.
That's amazing.
Stood in the middle of the stage in a lavender sweater, crying like a 2-year-old, because I'm grateful. You know, the doors open up. People are. First of all, the crowd is gorgeous. They're fashionable and stylish, and they come ready to play. And when those doors, now here's Wendy, people are jumping up and down.
Why have the doors opened for you? What did you do right in your career? What could you give? What advice would you give to somebody? And what were the tools, you know, that you found on your journey?
Well, the first thing I find is travel light, travel far, meaning don't bring your friends and your family with you on your journey. You know, career should be separate from your personal life, because it is the person traveling light who gets pulled through the door. As soon as they see that you have all these people with you, they're like, oh, no. You know, you wait beyond the velvet rope of life, so to speak. You know, I picked up everything after I graduated from college. I'd already secured my first job in the Virgin Islands. My parents weren't encouraging of that. All my friends were settling for jobs, you know, selling Estee Lauder at Bloomingdale's, when really they are, you know, criminal justice majors trying to figure out whether they want to go to law school. And I'm just like, oh, right, really, losers? I mean, not that you're a loser, but after you've been in school for 4 years, you're going to sell
You're going to settle.
You're going to sell makeup at Bloomingdale's instead of getting your behind in law school? Well, look, I majored in communications and minored in journalism. I either want to be a radio broadcaster or a newscaster. My parents aren't rich and I've got no time to waste. I got myself a first job and I left. My friends thought it was fabulous that, oh, Wendy, you landed a job in the Virgin Islands. We'll come to see you. No. Losers, don't come to see me. I'm not staying in the Virgin Islands. I'm down here to do my radio job. I was making $3.25 an hour. Nobody understood while I was there. I cried virtually every single day, but I grinded, and I was only there for 8 months before I secured my second radio job in DC. And then I secured my next radio job in New York. I've slept at every rest stop, Alexander, from New York to DC and back, because I refused to stop at my own parents' house to sleep in a nice warm bed and have a hot meal, because I would rather be by myself in my Subaru with a pillow and a blanket than hang out with nitwit friends who were too flighty, or my parents who didn't understand my journey. So I say travel light, travel far. That is my definition of what that means. And the other thing is, play your position. There's nothing worse than being someplace and interns jumping up in your face wanting pictures. When I was an intern, I laid back in the cut. All kinds of people. Madonna, I remember interning in Boston at the radio station, and at that time, Tina Turner, you better be good to me, and Madonna's Borderline was out, and all songs like that. And those people would come into the radio station, and I would mind my own humble business, observing from afar. Nowadays, you walk into radio and TV stations, interns are jumping up like executives asking for pictures. Play your position. See, people like me remember stuff like that. And now you want to hire, you want to come to my show to be hired. No, I do believe have you learned to play your position? So there are a lot of different jewels, but those are just a couple of them, Alexander.
Well, I have some 24 questions with you.
All right.
This is going to be fast-paced, super fun. So let's just see how it goes, okay?
Okay.
What's your favorite thing about Philly?
Gee, quiet family. I really enjoyed the peacefulness of Philly. Everybody goes to church on Sundays, and family. Yeah.
Favorite movie?
Less Than Zero.
Favorite TV show currently on?
Anything on the ID channel or American Breed.
A book you plan on reading?
Candy Spellings.
A book that powerfully impacted your life?
Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how excited are you about life right now?
10.
Twitter or Instagram?
Well, do I have to choose one, right?
You be honest. You say what you mean.
Instagram.
Favorite food?
Mexican.
Best restaurant in Philadelphia?
It's closed. Old Original Bookbinders.
What do you love on your pizza?
Anchovies. Lots of anchovies.
What's the hardest part about being a mom?
Oh, God. Accepting rejection. Nah, Mom, what do you want? Yeah.
Radio or TV?
TV only because it's what I'm doing now, but I plan on returning to radio because it's my first love.
Favorite song right now?
Because you're a good girl and you know it. You act so different. Drake. I'm a mom. I only know the words and I don't even know them right.
Hold on, we're going home.
Yeah.
Okay.
And guess what? And it's old, but it's taken me a moment to catch on to it. I like that song.
Favorite song lyrics? This is tough.
Little Kim, you want to bumble with the beat, huh? Throw a hex on your whole family. Dressed in all black like the Omen.
Yes! Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
What is your most prized material possession?
I would have to say, my wedding set.
Dogs or cats?
Neither, but cats, if I have to.
Kanye or Kim?
Kim.
Name one historic figure you would love to have coffee with.
Anna Nicole Smith. She's not a historic figure, but
She's a historic figure.
I would adore to meet her.
Yeah, I would too, actually.
I'm not saying that we'd be friends,
yeah,
but the conversation would be interesting.
How do you take your coffee?
Light and sweet.
Favorite thing to do on a Sunday?
Nothing.
What's your favorite curse word?
The F word.
What color dress did you wear to prom?
I've never been to a prom.
Pat's or Gino's?
Gino's.
So the Wendy Williams Show returns September 15th for your 6th season,
Yes.
and you were renewed for season 7 and season 8.
Yes.
And your 7th book is out.
It's called Hold Me in Contempt.
Hold Me in Contempt.
It's a romance novel.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
What's the name of the heroine?
Kim Kind. She's an assistant district attorney in New York City.
How you doing? How you doing? This is really spectacular.